Hey, it's Therese Skelly of happyinbusiness.com, and I'm so excited. This is video 1 of the Own Your Value, Raise Your Rates video series. Thank you so much for joining me. So here's a question for you. Imagine you had a house with a basement, and you open the basement door and you notice it's flooded. There's like a foot of water. What would you do? Would you say, I think we need a new roof? Probably not. Would you say, I know what the solution is, we just need to paint the walls? Or would you say, if we just get some new couches, that will surely solve the problem? You'd think those solutions are crazy, wouldn't you? But here's the deal. That's what you do every day in your business. Because what we do is, we don't fix the leaks. We don't fix the things in the foundation. We try all kinds of other fixes that attempt to make it better. But really, when I gave you the house analogy, you would say, that's crazy. So I want you to get, that's crazy, if that's what you're doing in your business. And this video series is designed to show you why you're not making the money you want. But first, I take a couple minutes and just tell you a little bit about me, why I'm here, and why, truthfully, I have the right to be here talking about this. So, I don't know if y'all know, but I have a master's degree in counseling, and since '89, I was a practicing psychotherapist, self-employed. I did that for 25 years. That's a lot of time sitting on the couch listening to what's going on in people's heads. And so in 2001, I went to life coaching school, which was fabulous. Really enjoyed it, but somehow I sort of got to just in front of business owners, which was crazy. So I started being a business coach. Now here's the funny part. I had never taken a business class. I had never had an MBA. I thought Excel was a phone company. I didn't ever see a spreadsheet, but I was a business coach. And the funny part is, I actually was doing pretty good. I made it work. I'm a really quick study, and I marketed and marketed and marketed, and I learned all about marketing and selling and copywriting and branding and all the things that made me a pretty good coach. Now today my business is doing really well. I consistently have 5-figure months. I've got lots of clients. I'm doing really well. But it wasn't always the case. You see, for years I had, I guess you'd call it like a chip on my shoulder. What was going on is for years, I apologized for being only a therapist. It's as if the thing, truthfully, that was my brilliance, I devalued. I saw that as something that held me back. It's like I couldn't play at the party with the big kids because I was just a therapist. I didn't come from a corporate background, and I didn't have business classes and not very analytical. So it's like I held back. And actually, those experiences where you teach what you need to learn? That was this for me. And so this has become my work, because here's what I know. I know the pain of knowing there is so much more potential in you. I know the pain of looking around and seeing everybody else saying, I'm just as good. Why am I not more successful? I know that pain. In fact, I call it my wandering in the desert for 3 years journey that I did. And the reason I know that I had to do that is because I get to teach it today. And I'm so excited. This now has become, well, I guess I call it my platform, the body of work that I get to teach. Because every client that comes to me, here's where we start. We don't just, throw some new paint on the wall and add a new roof and put some pretty furniture. We do all those things ultimately, but we start with owning their value. Because I will tell you unequivocally, this is where money is made or lost. This one place. One place. So maybe some of you have had a situation where your coach or your mentor said, just raise your rates. Maybe they really believe in you and they say, you shouldn't be at that figure, double it. Were you able to? Because if you weren't, you're not owning your value. And I'm going to show you a little picture. So this, you can see that? This is an iceberg. And I'm going to show you today what's in the way. So imagine this iceberg. You can see that just about 5% of it is above the surface. And all of the rest is below the surface. This is exact representation of our conscious and unconscious. So only 5% of what's driving you, you can see. Everything else that drives you, sadly, is unconscious or hidden. So I'm going to talk to you today about why you might have trouble owning your value. So here's what happens. Let's say up here you have desire. You're going to set a goal. I want to make $100,000. I want to take great vacations with my kids. I want to pay for my son's college. Whatever your goal is, that's your desire. So there's a party that's like, yeah, absolutely, yes, yes, yes. I'm all in. You set goals, you make plans, you create strategies. Does it always work? Sometimes it does, but very often, either it's slow and laborious. I call it like stop-start. Like you go, and then you start, you kind of do that, like you hit the brakes, hit the gas, hit the brakes, hit the gas. Or sometimes it doesn't work at all. Seems like those are the people that end up in my doorstep because they've already bought the blueprints. They've already paid money for tons of coaching, and they've gotten great strategies. It's not their coach's fault. It's nobody's fault, actually. But what's going on is that something is under the surface that is blocking the success. So let me explain to this. Here you have desire, you have your goal. But underneath, there are things that are going to block you. I'm going to refer to those as conflicting intentions. So let's just use the analogy of you want to create a six-figure business. Let's say you're a woman. So part of you says, absolutely, I'm going to do it. I'm so focused. I've got vision. I've got goals. I'm doing everything right. That's the conscious. And then the unconscious part might have a little conflicting intention. And that could sound like this. You know, if you really make six figures, it's going to take you a very long time, and you're going to have to be away from your kids. And what kind of woman would that be? And what if it really screws your kids up? And what if, and what if, and what if? So that part of you, in essence, puts the brakes on. So here's how it shows up. You'll be all excited, you'll be moving forward, and you get an opportunity, and oops, you don't follow up on it, or you have some leads, shoot, you forget to make the sales calls, or somebody comes in, they're ready to buy, and you just maybe don't charge what you could. Because whenever there's a conflicting intention, what's always going to win is something related to safety. So think about that. Here you're a mom, you want to grow your business, and there's this other part that says, you're at risk. Your kids are at risk. Something bad could happen. It goes like that all the time. And it's the work I do with people to help uncover those conflicting intentions. Because guess what? Whether you know it or not, you have them. We all have them. And there is no greater way to find them than around the area of money. I'll just be really honest here. A coach of mine a couple years ago said, your rates are so not in line with where you should be. Just double them. And I'm like, yeah, oh, absolutely, yes, certainly. I couldn't even sleep that night. I had a total freak out, like, oh God, oh God. Well, there was something clearly pulling me down. There's something that was creating such struggle. Instead of like, oh, heck yeah, absolutely, I could do that. No, I couldn't do that. Because there was things underneath the surface that were making it not safe for me to do that. Now, most people don't think this deeply. They don't go like, hark, what's under the surface? They just go, I guess I can't sell it, and they don't. So let's talk briefly about where these conflicting intentions come from. There's 7 or 8 that I'm going to talk about today. The first one is gender. Gender. There are certain rules that women have taken on. You know, I'm old enough, I'm dating myself, but I'm old enough to still be influenced by June Cleaver. That was my role model. And think of the messages that I would have gotten from June Cleaver. Now, if you're 30, you've had Oprah. You're doing better. You're probably in a lot better shape. But women very often are given messages about what's expected, what's okay, what's not. And even if you think you haven't bought into the cultural stereotype about what mothers should do and about what women should do, trust me, you might have taken it on. Because again, remember there's the conscious part that says, yeah, that's crazy, there's no way. And I could show you, the next video we might show it to you, how to determine, like, did you buy into that or not? So there's gender, there's culture. Very often different cultures have different expectations or norms or rules about being bold, standing up, being, proclaiming who you are. There's some Asian cultures. I have a client that is Filipino, and is very ingrained in her to to be humble. You have to be successful, but you have to be very humble, and you can't talk about it. So she's had a really hard time marketing because of the cultural influences that she's had. Another one is religion. Sometimes we pick up things from our religious upbringing, whether they're true or not, that in essence kind of smash down our ability to own our value. Because think about what you might have heard. It might be contrary to what you're hearing today. So if you're hearing, you can charge anything you want, but in the back of your mind, you're perhaps hearing, a pastor you had as a child talk about how, money is the root of all evil or whatever, might be messing up your prosperity. Another one is region. Different parts of the country have different values around worth, work, value, time. There's kind of the joke, like the coasts, like California and New York, the East Coast, the West Coast, they're a little bit more relaxed perhaps, or a little more able to be out there banging the drum saying, yes, pay me what I'm worth. Whereas if you were a Midwesterner, it would be like, oh, no, don't worry, I just do this as a favor, I'm just a hard-working Midwesterner, right? I'm trying to do the accent, but I can't. So there's that. Another one is family. What did you pick up in your family? There's many, many good books about understanding what did you get. I'll give you an example. What I notice, very many men cap their income at the same level their fathers did. So if your father only made $50,000 and you could be on a trajectory to make $200,000, but you're not, you keep hitting this wall, it could be because there's a little part of you, remember the conflicting intention, that says, how dare you get more than your father? That would be disloyal. Eesh. So there's family beliefs that create these conflicting intentions. Another one, and this is this one is so surprising, but it's so powerful, and I see it a lot. It's what I call carried. So you might be cool. You might thinking, heck yeah, I could bring that $100,000 in. But when we test you, we could determine, and this is actually a true story, I've had this with a number of clients, that you're carrying your mother's or carrying another family member's, in essence, blueprint about your money. That's kind of like, what? What? I know, it gets a little woo at this point. But very often, if we're in close relationship with people, we tend to take on their energy, their values, their beliefs. So sometimes if you're sitting here going, what the heck is going on? I should be able to do more, be more, have more. Where's mine? If I was working with you, I would say, let's see if it's somebody else's that you are doing. You're doing somebody else's work. I actually had 2 women clients that both did their moms. They were doing, their mom's funky beliefs. It wasn't theirs because they felt clean, but when I tested them and it came out, no, this is your mom's energy that is. And another one, whether you believe this or not, some people believe that past lives can affect this. So there's many, many, many places that these conflicting intentions, remember the bottom of the iceberg, that's what's in the way. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start, video 3, we're going to get into some tools, but until video 3 gets here, what I want you to do is I want you just to put some thought into this. What could it be? What could it be? What's in the way? Now, here's a good way to push it because, well, how do I explain this? Metaphor. If you're sitting on the first floor and you have a massive fear of heights, and we're sitting on the first floor having some coffee or something, you don't even notice you have a fear of heights, right? Until I say, let's go to the Space Needle. Whoa, that would be so fun. Let's go really high. And all of a sudden you're like, what? Then it occurs to you, oh, that's right, I did have that fear of heights thing. Okay, so I want you, here's my challenge. What is a rate that you would love to charge, but would probably wet your pants? I'm sorry, maybe that's not appropriate for a video. But anyway, what's a rate you would love to charge? It would be so scary. Put yourself there. Because if you're sitting in your safe little rates that it's easy to sell, no problem, you don't have to stretch yourself, you're not going to find any of the unconscious blocks. Find some rates that you'd be like, oh, really? Oh my God, I could never say that. That's the one I want you to say. And then just be with it. Be with what comes up, because that is the magic. That's the stuff that's like, woo, that's where we work. That's how we free it up. So, next video, we're going to talk about how other places this own your value thing is showing up. Where else in your life is it causing you to play small, accept less, just not live the cool, optimum, healthy life that you could have? Because there's a lot more. Money is the easiest one to find, but there's more. So, this is Therese Skelly of happyinbusiness.com, and make sure you tune back in to the next video because you're going to learn where this is showing up. Video 3, I'm going to give you some solutions. So, bye now. Take care.